Hello everyone. I expect each and every one of you is staying healthy, staying safe in this pandemic. Today I want to share something about dopamine and how so many of our habits that are dependent on dopamine and its craving, and what is actually the function of dopamine. Really how some industries are exploiting it for their benefits. As my channel is on budding stages and I really love to improve on my content every day, so I would really be happy to have any suggestions down in the comment section. So let's just start with the basics. Let's just discuss what really actually the dopamine is and what is its function in our body. So dopamine is a neurotransmitter. In simpler terms, what I can define, neurotransmitters are the chemical messengers in our brain that helps one neuron to communicate with other. There are electrical synapses, there are also chemical synapses. So neurotransmitters are the chemical part. So the neurotransmitters help in the chemical transmissions of the signals. And dopamine especially has been responsible for the signal of pleasure. Not just that, it has also important function in memory saving, learning, and in some coordination abilities. Typically, when something makes you happy, it can be anything. At that particular moment, a signal is being sent to the ventral tegmental area of our brains. It is a part of our brain. It is a part of our brain that sends the signal to the nucleus accumbens and then to the prefrontal cortex. Now, this was the basic physiology and the path that this neurotransmitter follows. Now, the first thing that I told you in this video was there are some habits that give us the reward as a dopamine. Now, the question is, why do we repeat such events again and again? Why do we repeat such habits? So, this is because of a part of a brain called hippocampus. Its main function is recording memory and store the events. So whenever you have a good feeling event, whenever you have such event or such habit where you feel very good, when there is a rush of dopamine, at that particular part, this hippocampus does is it creates the memory of that event. And amygdala creates a conditional response. What is amygdala? Amygdala is your emotional part of the brain. It is which is responsible for creating a conditional response. This was the basic physiology of dopamine. Now, what is the basic problem? The basic problem is that there are some drugs and some habits that create shortcut. Means they pour a lot of dopamine to nucleus accumbens, and some drugs that can even release 10 to 20 times normal amount which has been released. Now the question is, what do you have to do with this? To answer that, you have to realize and you have to observe what really is the short-term pleasure and how is a simple habit as simple as social media browsing that can lead to dopamine addiction. You see so many likes and so many shares and views that gives your reward center the rush of dopamine, and this memory of reward make you repeat such activities again and again. You upload a video, you upload a picture, and then you get thousands of likes. That at that particular point, that is social media addiction. What I want you to understand is, first, you are addicted to certain activities or certain drugs or certain experiences not due to dopamine. Dopamine is not the culprit, but the most important observation is that a root cause are the habits, are the activities, not the dopamine. You can't just remove that part of brain that produces dopamine. You won't be able to just remove part of the brain that secretes dopamine. It is next to impossible. And if you do so, if you manage to remove that part, you have to understand that there won't be any happiness in your life, as this hormone is related to happiness. A simple task as drinking water releases dopamine. Are you understanding that? Hope you are enjoying this video, and do check more of my videos, and if you love my content, do subscribe to this channel and follow us on Instagram. So basic culprit of our problems or our repetitive behaviors to certain habits is not dopamine. These are the activities or the habits. Second point I want you to understand is that the dopamine is already naturally occurring in our body. It is even released when you have learned something exciting. It helps you to keep motivated, to keep doing work, to keep stay healthy. It also keeps you happy and motivated when you do something right, when you do something correct. It keeps you going, it keeps you motivated. The problem with the term dopamine detox is that, according to me, this is just a misnomer where we are targeting dopamine to the culprit, which it is not. So the real culprit is our habits. Dopamine is naturally occurring, and you can accept that we can't fight to stop it, as your reward center is also related to your memory and motivation. In a habit loop, fighting to change the reward or the craving is not very efficient. That is why I told you to keep in your mind that you have to change the routine. Otherwise, your mind is still craving for the reward, and you would end up going back to the same routine or same habit loop again and again. For example, in the traditional weight loss training, what has been done is you are given a set of tasks that is totally opposite to your regular schedule. They want you to give up all your habits in just one day. They want you to try going for a walk to the office rather than riding. They want you to take up the stairs. They want you to stop craving for sugar and stop snacking up. There are millions of examples set that showed that these people try to overcome their habits in just one day and end up back into their track and end up back to square one within few months. The habit of snacking, it won't change just in one day. No, it won't. You have to target small habits. I think many of you must have noticed this. It's not just you. We all are many times trying to take over our habits, and we just can't. The same thing was observed by certain researchers and certain scientists. And what they did was they asked few hundred of people for signing up for their research, and they asked half of the candidates to write up in the journal, to maintain a journal of keeping a record or a log of what they are eating throughout the day. First of the ones who maintain the journal make them frustrated, but eventually as they did, they observed that in a matter of few months, the one who maintained the journal showed 80% more chances of a better weight loss. And the one who were asked to not maintain a journal and given the traditional weight loss training or the techniques, they end up going back to square one, back to their original habits, didn't lose even a single pound. So what is the observation from this experiment? What do you think is the solution for changing a lot of our habits? What do you think? Is it a dopamine detox? I don't think so. I will better call it as dopamine rechannelizing. We would be channeling the dopamine in a right direction, and for that I want you to do a simple 3 steps. Step number 1. Similar to the experiment, I want you to maintain a journal. Don't worry, I just want you to maintain it for a single day in a week. Means you would be filling up your journal once a week. It can be any day, it can be a weekday or it can be a weekend. Decide yourself. Put a reminder, put an alarm or a reminder in your phone so that you remember each week you have to, that each week at that particular day, the first task that you have to do is you have to introspect and analyze all the previous day in the week, and you have to think what are your habits that you know that these are wasting my time, that these are not good for me, and just note it down. What are the behaviors that you keep on repeating? For a much easier view, let's just divide it into few segments. Like, I would be dividing it into 5 segments. First, the habit related to exercise. We all know that we must exercise for a bit of time. It can be a 30 minutes jog or it can be cardio. But we all know that many a times we start procrastinating workout or we don't even do it. So the first category is habits related to the exercise. Second category is habits related to eating. Just jot down your eating habits. How many times you snacked? How much sugar have you consumed? The third category is social media browsing. Are you wasting your time on Instagram or YouTube? Then you must jot it down. The fourth category that I want you to create is working on yourself. Every day we can learn many things. We have to keep on working on ourselves and our brains keep going. The most precious tool that we have is our brain, and you have to keep working on that. So the fourth category is working on yourself. The fifth and the last category, what I recommend is your actual work is. Means it can be studies, it can be photography, it can be creating new music, it can be anything, what you like, what is your future career. And further, it is much up to you. You can work more things out and you can observe more of your routine more carefully. As you observe more and more each and every week, you would be noticing much more habits. So jot it down. The second task that I want you guys to do is make tasks to perform list and make your list daily. The first thing after waking up, what I want you to do is select 10 to 5 tasks what you know you should do at that particular day. Rest, it is up to you. You can divide your time period, how much time you have to give on each task, and after each and every task I want you to give a reward time period. Only after completing your first task you would be giving your first reward time period. And at the end of the day, if you complete all the tasks you have listed initially, then give yourself a bigger reward. As I told you, dopamine is also important for keeping you motivated. So the third and the final task is, I want you to make this your new habit. Your new habit to keep in check of yourself. To keep in check whether these habits are running your day or you are consciously deciding to check your efficiency throughout the day and properly using your energy and time. This new habit will let you use your reward center of the brain to develop yourself and to work. And this is a much more efficient way to channelize your dopamine in a right direction. You would be giving the reward only when you complete certain tasks that you know are important, that you know are important to change the routine of certain habits. The journal that you maintain, you will observe and you will understand that you yourself have to tweak the routine to form new habits. I want you to follow these tasks. I want you to improve each and every day. And if you really like this video and you think this is a practical and more efficient way to work, then please do subscribe to this channel, to follow us on Instagram. And if you really enjoyed this video, do check out my other videos. And all I want to say is that I really want to learn more from each and every one of you. So If you have anything you want to share, you can DM me and we can share your experiences and your story in this channel. That's it for today. See you in the next one. Till then, take care, stay healthy, think, learn, and grow.